I'm an Italian chef, and I grew up under the kitchen table where the flour fell on my knees, and when I was escaping from my older brothers, you know, when during the parties on Sunday, and there is, I think this is the moment where everything began, because you know, I felt very safety in the kitchen in those moments. At the Osteria Francescana, we look at the world from under the table, from a critical point of view, not a nostalgic one. If we take our memories out of the past and bring them into the future, tradition, I think, can be improved. Culture as becoming the genuine motivational force behind the evolution of our cuisine. Culture breeds awareness, awareness leads to knowledge, with knowledge comes responsibility. Everything we think, we see and learn gets squeezed into our cuisine. Food is not just the quality of the ingredients, but is the quality of the ideas. It takes consciousness, vision, intuition to create a recipe. It takes faith. You are challenging yourself. Each time is like the first, over and over and over again. Consciousness is the means. It is your toolbox. Everything you have learned and everything you are. Understand what you have done and how you have done it. Analyze your experiences and studies. Know your talents and recognize your habits. Vision is the crossroad between the rational and the emotional. Developing a recipe is an intellectual activity, but not only. The emotional meets the logical. Passion rides rationality. Intuition is when you fall, and suddenly you see the world from another point of view. It is the unexpected moment. You turn a corner and discover something new. It's neither consciousness nor vision, but is a flash in the dark. Intuition means catch that flash and put it into work. The Chinese artist Ai Weiwei dropped a 2,000-year-old vase. Contrary to what you see, the artist is not defining the past. He is looking at it in a new way, from a critical point of view, not a nostalgic one. The artist purposely breaks the past into different pieces. The fragment of history became a point of departure. They are not the end, but a new beginning. Dismantle, transform, recreate. Ai Weiwei action is a metaphor for our creative process in Osteria Francescana. We often break the past into different pieces to be put back together. Our kitchen, our ideas, is always looking back, but not with a nostalgic way to see the past, but the critical ones. Applying new technologies and technique, and always asking this question: do our culinary tradition have respect for our ingredients, for the farmers, fishermen, cheesemakers that help us to create these kind of dishes? If not, it is our responsibility to change the recipe and make it better. Tradition in evolution. Responsibility. It is not enough to know who we are. When we find ourselves confronted with certain realities, like an earthquake, financial crisis, identity crisis, new reflection entering into the picture. ethic and aesthetic, culture, consciousness, and responsibility. We need to ask if recipe can become social gesture. We need to ask ourselves what kind of message leave our restaurant. With respect, we can transform product in order to transform our territories. From Modena to Mirandola, this is an example, very simple, of the evolution of the traditional recipes. Cotechino in geo, cotechino in galera. Fried cotechino wrapped in pork line with fried, served with zabaione. Undigestible. It's unbelievable. So what we did is like with a gesture, we lowered the sugar in the sbrisolona, the lower part. And we switch the marsala in the zabaione with Lambrusco from Sorbara, a little village in the middle between Modena and Mirandola, to give the acidity for the palate. And we cook the cotechino. Instead of using the water, we use a steaming process using Lambrusco instead of the water. So we are talking about territorio. So this plate can be revived as a metaphor or reviving Mirandola, a town terribly damaged by the earthquake in May 2012. And most of the thing is because Mirandola is the place where cotechino was created 500 years ago. Freedom. So, 1,000 layers or leaves is a word play on Italian words mille foglie, which literally translate into 1,000 leaves or 1,000 layers, depending or whenever you are a gardener or a pastry chef. This savory dessert that is not a dessert is breaking the border between sweet and savory. As I say, Emilia is always like that. We don't know exactly what to serve. If we serve fried dough with prosciutto and confit cherries, or serving a bollito misto with wild apple mustard, so spicy and sweet. So this dessert is made with coated leaf as a metaphor for winter landscape. This landscape is cold, dark, humid, forgotten, but the gesture is bright and hopeful. It says, I find inspiration in every day. It's the idea of not lose yourself in everyday life. I bend over and pick up an handful of leaves fallen under a tree. What do I find? I found the expression of the season. I found leaves and the flavor of earth, my poetry imagination. I found mushroom, truffle, chestnut, chocolate, pumpkin, bitter greens. I found the poetry of the everyday. What is under my feet becomes my meal. You can find that poetry in everyday gesture. You just, first you must give yourself the freedom to wander, to dream, and to discover the soul of everything that surrounds you. An handful of leaves with winter frost, the earth, the ice, chestnuts in the pocket, or a little bit of pumpkin that was left in the darker corner of the cellar, can lead to magic thoughts and visionary moments in the kitchen. Don't lose the unexpected encounter with yourself. Don't lose yourself in every day, but transform the everyday into spiritual path. The secret of happiness is to resist the temptation to be imprisoned by reality, obsession, obligation. I have to go to the bank, I have to go to the counter, I have to do this, I have to do that. You don't have space for anything. But if you leave a little space, you know, free to jump into, in this freedom you can find the poetry. Modena is a medieval town. We don't have beautiful mountains or beautiful sea. We don't even see in Via Stella the steeple of the Cathedral of Modena, you know. So our windows open up other windows. There is no view, nothing. And so where we find inspiration? In culture. We find inspiration in art, in our passion, inside ourselves. And art is becoming our landscape of ideas. It widens horizon and opens up possibilities. So this is just an image of Gertrude Stein and Cubism and the military track. And the plate came out just reading what Gertrude Stein was writing about Picasso. He was crazy about this new idea in 1914 of this military track, who was, you know, no one seen till that moment. And this track, out of the blue, came one night on Boulevard de Raspail, where Mr. Stein and Mrs. Stein and Picasso, they were walking. Picasso was so thrilled that he turned his head into the track and he said, "My God, we invented that. That's Cubism." So if Picasso can imagine Cubism out of a military track, you know, I can imagine an air in the wood. Where is the air? I don't know. It's under the wood. And that's the plate. It's the camouflage we invented. And so here's the idea, is to reevaluate the rigor of the classic recipes and see it with new eyes. A civet starts everything from there. Thinking about the classic French. Because, you know, I'm really into this now. To reevaluate the classics, because everyone is speaking about this trend, the other trend. But where are the classics? This is a message for the young, you know. You have to study, to learn everything, to know everything, to create something new, and forget about everything. It's just a way of thinking. And we create this landscape as a camouflage, thinking about Picasso, but could be also thinking about Andy Warhol. And we put underneath a civet of air with a little bit of foie gras, thinking about the classic royale. And then we start, as I was explaining, with the video, with contaminations, adding some criolla chocolate from Peru, or a foam of coffee that gives its taste. So the civet is becoming like, is a dessert, is a pre-dessert, is now we're serving as the last plate of the menu of sensations. The spirit to decorate it as a piece of camouflage comes from the art of the artist, the jester, but also the fool, you know? Therefore, we need consciousness, vision, intuition to make new recipes. My kitchen focuses on how ideas are turned into forms. Sculptural in nature, social in gesture. What we do as chefs is take chaotic raw ingredients and transform them. Transform them into order and edible ideas. This transformation is remarkable. We make visible the underlying connection between the natural world, technology, and arts. Culture is our greatest motivational force for change. What do you see here? The artist always our way to create a landscape of 100 million porcelain sunflower seeds. Each seed is unique. Each is made by hand. The sunflower seeds are made in a town just 1,000 kilometers from Beijing, where artisans have been making porcelain vases for emperor for hundreds of years. But nobody needs now. And the artisan skills today, after 1,000 years of artisan heritage. The artist Ai Weiwei applied an old technique to contemporary language. By doing this, the artist saved a generation of artisans. And the project taught them that their skills are not out of date. Is the way I was using a civet before in a visionary plate as a camouflage, but apply an old technique of civet. This metaphor is important to us because I don't pretend that artisans, cheesemakers, the farmers, they supply me and they are close to me. They understand about contemporary cuisine, but I want they understand what I'm doing. This is very important because I have them always on my side. It all comes down to the need to share, educate, and be generous with our ideas, because culture, awareness, consciousness, and responsibility are connected to the evolution of our idea. Tradition in evolution, ethic and aesthetic, faith, reason. The purpose of art is to make visible the invisible. Joseph Beuys made this Capri battery during the last year of his life, while he was recovering from a Lyme disease of the Mediterranean Isles of Capri. It is a yellow light bulb in a portable socket that is plugged into a lamp. Electricity flows from the fruit, lighting up the bulb and producing a light. With this bright yellow color, referring to the sunny landscape of southern Italy, the battery suggested that a marriage of art, science, and nature can nourish and heal culture with an almost magical energy. Each of us translates our personal narratives. That is a combination of feelings, memories, and emotions. We translate into a language we call food. Each one of us takes a different journey to get there. In each one of us, there is a lemon reserve, an extra battery of pomodorini del Piedmont, or Barolo grapes, or Vignola cherries. We each have a secret pesto, don't tell anyone, or a magical sauce, unique. Every day in the kitchen, we experiment with this merger of art, science, and nature. Capri battery is a metaphor for a new myself, Italy, whatever. You applicate with your mind. meditate through a poetic gesture and technology, without abandoning nature, nor identity. Thank you.